right, thanks for staying tuned. Welcome back. It's still our coverage of the supplementary elections here on Channels Television. And as I did say, we're going to go, even as we're rounding this particular segment down, we're going to Abuja, where the NSCDC commandant, Mr. Iyamo, is. Now, Mr. Iyamo, you've heard all what's been said. I'm not going to bother you with the philosophical underpinnings because you are not a philosopher, at least not in uniform. But I think we can ask you about moving forward. What would you like to see in terms of better security arrangements? Is it in the synergy between your agency, for example, and others? Because I know there are other agencies involved in security. Or is it in the question of Nigerians taking security as their own business too? You know, give us a sense of what it is that you think we need to do now, since we are looking forward.
Thank you. Security, like you are aware, is not a one-man business. It's a business for everybody. And one man, one security agency alone cannot do it. Therefore, in collaboration, in synergy with other security agencies, like in this election where the police is the lead agency, other agencies are just complementing the Nigerian police. I think in so doing, we will move ahead. And in the area of the public too, we need useful information from them to help us move ahead, to help us to be, the information we get will enable us to be proactive and in security measures. And in moving ahead, all of us have to come together. All the security agencies, both the security agency, the police, the DSS, and other one, so that we all should forge ahead for a common goal in this country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. As we wind this segment down, I'm going to give first Mr. Thompson and then, of course, Mr. Odukoya an opportunity now. We're looking forward. I mean, there's enough, if we're sharing blame, there's enough blame to go around. And we've probably done quite a bit of that already. But going forward now, in terms of the direct things, I mean, if, for example, the members of the 9th Assembly are listening to you, some of the members, some of those you said will not keep quiet in the aftermath of this and so on. They can't go after everything at once. So if you had to pinpoint, maybe say 3 things that they should go after first, which will be the building blocks for other things, what will those be?
That's a good approach. Now, let me say this, that we started out with me pointing out to you that everything that we're saying are based on systemic flaws. The flaw is in the system, it's not in the people. Everybody you've spoken to on all sides of the equation. So what do we say here? I still insist that if Nigeria is going to retain its position as the giant of Africa, this analog versus digital conflict has to be seen through. And when the digitals win, and they will win, one of the first things we need to put on ground is that Nigeria thinks it is operating a US, American-styled democracy. Now, it behooves on leadership to be able to help us to get the average person, and first of all, highlight the fact that in the mind of the people who have been going to vote here, they are yet to make a connection between the act of voting and all the basic issues of their lives. As a matter of fact, this is where people like this TV station has been doing an excellent job, but is going to have to do a lot better in helping people to connect that vote to the number of children who will end up in good schools, to the number of people who end up dying from malaria fever and some simple things that ought not to be. You need to help to bring to connection that what you're doing with your vote will decide many things concerning husband and wife, whether you ever own a car or never own one, and things like that. But not only that, such people who are real leaders indeed, including, I mean, he mentioned something about the APC and the manifesto of the PDP and all that. The truth is that you are right. I can't speak so that I can give you all the details when you look at what is involved. But at least I know Professor Yemi Osinbajo amongst all those people. I can tell you what he stands for as a personality, okay? And I can tell you that he would be one of the people who realizes that if we lay a proper argument down that we need to reprogram this nation, it's not difficult for somebody like him to know that we need user-friendly narratives to teach the nation exactly what is going on. This is what a real democracy is. This is what it means to you. This is what happens to you. This is how we're going to relate it to your everyday things that you're doing. Number two, we're going to have to produce templates to help the people to see, to understand what is going on. And then, apart from the templates, of course, we're going to have what we call applications. For a good example, I was listening to some youths. And what you don't realize in Nigeria is that the media focuses on the older generation. You keep focusing on us, you are neglecting the youth. If you go listen to them, I listened to one youth talk about the next level excitedly. And another one toned in and said, we are not talking about machetes, buckets, and wheelbarrows. As anybody who brings that around us as a development would find a stiff resistance among the youths. So I said, so what are you talking about? Artificial intelligence. I was shocked. When the youth began to talk to me about artificial intelligence, its applications in farming, genomics, autonomous transportation. Right. When they began to highlight all these things, we came to a conclusion together. There's only one thing that Nigerian leadership needs to understand in writing a new program for Nigeria. What Nigeria needs to do right now is that we need to jump over the mechanical revolution and just go and enter the digital revolution. It's like a man who never owned, you know, those, when we should go to Nitel to make phone calls, you want to call analog phones.
Not night now.
And all those, and those big ones. Then we got to the not 9 North, and then we now finally came to the GSM technology. Now imagine a nation that has the opportunity to jump directly from using talking drums to communicate and leap over Nitel, leap over analog phones, and jump into digital phones. Market women in Nigeria are using digital phones. Everybody everywhere. You can see that Nigerians are smart people. So my own counsel is this. Please, we must never repeat what we just saw in this election. It's an embarrassment to the academia in Nigeria, using scissors to cut results, and magnifying glass, and then collating this and that. We must, as elders, older people in this community, we must look at the younger ones who are coming up. We must remember the things we enjoyed at least a bit in our times, and then we must help them to maximize this quantum leap into the digital world. The market woman in Kano, the young person in Maiduguri, every aspect of life in Nigeria will take that quantum leap, and we will be the real giants of Africa once again.
Well, you speak so eloquently, Mr. Thompson, about the youth. Yes. But there will be those who will, and now I'm coming to you, there will be those who will argue that the youth have learnt from those in front of them, and that, in fact, at many of the things that we're talking about, they have gotten better. They have introduced technology, you know, into these bad processes that you want to change. And that, in fact, if there's to be any tweaking and restructuring and reprogramming, that's where it ought to start. Before I come to you, I don't know if you want to weigh in on that.
Let me just quickly tell this to you, Laddie. Obviously, you move around only with the elites in Nigeria. The very minor percentage of youths who have had the kind of access you're talking about and are applying it in a negative way are a complete minority. Nigeria has a teeming youth population of youths who you have not listened to, who are their voices are totally unheard. Trust me, they are still programmable. Their hearts are still open. Many of them have parents who can rub two nickels together. Many of them have, you know, struggled through so much, yet they still have a heart that is towards Nigeria. Now, what can happen is this. If we miss this opportunity and then let the deterioration go on for another 8 years, then we'll come to the place where you mentioned, when it will be too late for us to turn things around. But I can tell you something, go around this nation, and I have been around this nation. Look at the young people see what they can do, see the zeal in their hearts, you will know that we have been doing them a disservice.
Indeed. Mr. Odukoya, now, what are your own 3 things that, I mean, and then, of course, you expatiate on them. What are those things that we must now do? Because beyond just saying, okay, yeah, we need to change things, we need to alter them, we need to move from here to here. So we need to practicalize this. Let me borrow your phrase.
Yes. I don't think I should mention 3 things. I just mention one thing that can have channels.
Of course,
like,
you will break down the channels.
Okay. Not channels, if you okay?
No.
We lack thinkers. And I'm saying that with all modesty. Especially in the public space, especially in governance. And without thinkers, people can envision the future, envision change, break it down into understandable bits, and then ensure they can execute with a clear carry. We can't go anywhere. The youth probably makes up over 60% of our population, especially those under 25 years old. And they are mostly ill-educated, ill-prepared for the digital world Mr. Ladi Thompson mentioned. And that is sad. Let me divert a bit. We have seen the presidential election and governorship election. No one has clearly examined how we conduct local government elections in this country. And that's the closest level of governance to the people. The local government, according to the constitution, is supposed to take care of primary school education. Who do we have as local government chairmen and councillors? We allow states, which is okay, that's the, to conduct local government elections. And you see, in all the states, the party in government always win all the seats. Is that democracy? The local government in the 70s, in the 80s, used to have equipment for Department of Works. They do roads. They do a lot of other things, the market and what have you.
Now they do salaries.
Now, I'm not even sure they do salaries. Maybe they share salaries. Because these are the people that will ensure the road park of this world were owned by the local government, managed, no? The schools, all the schools, the health centers. So we need to go back to that basic and ensure that the local government is peopled with the right people. During the first, between 1999 and 2003 in Lagos State, I remember the caliber of local government chairmen. You have the Ayo Shitelu of this world. You have doctors, lawyers, and local government chairmen. You can't say the same thing of local government chairmen in Lagos today. So, and you can only give what you have. Then, we need internal party democracy. Because we are putting a lot of pressure, a lot of burden on the parties. But when you don't have internal party democracy, what do you have? I belong to a forum on WhatsApp that supports a particular former governorship candidate. And I discovered that when there's anything against the party, the people are shouted down. And my view is that, you should allow alternate views. Then bring out your own superior argument. In doing this, we refine ourselves. The parties need to have internal party democracy, creating for alternative views. With this, they will refine their ideas and come up with the right ideologies and manifesto that will benefit us. Poverty eradication. And poverty is not just absence of money. It could also be absence of the right education. The government needs to come out with how to, at a reduced rate, eradicate or maybe minimize poverty. Power is key. Education, food security, and what have you. I find it difficult and astonishing that on this election, I think the budget was about 200 and something billion.
Well, totally, yes, inclusive of security and all of that.
Okay, good. The issue of security, I don't see why we should add security to that election because already it's budgeted for normally. But that's one of the problems we have in the country. Yesterday also, during the week, I learned that the census that was due 4 years ago is now going to take place. And we're going to also budget another 200 billion. And if you ask for money for education, you ask for money for health, you say there's no money. So we need to get our priorities right in this country. The last one, like Mr. Lloyd Thompson mentioned, is electoral reforms. Because this electoral reform is the one that actually would manifest or actualize the power that the constitution resides in the people. We need to ensure that we have as little physical interference in the electoral process as possible. The president should please sign the electoral law. Let's practice it with the next elections. If there are shortcomings, we adjust and move on. But I believe that the country has a bright future. It's not too late if our politicians get their acts together and they are actually there to serve the people. Many of us still remember the golden days of the First and Second Republic, the pyramids in the north, the cocoa dome, the cocoa house in the west, the WNTV and what have you. Then the same thing, Second Republic, the free education, free healthcare, the universities, the rural development, and what have you. But in the last 20 years, I can't point to one or two achievements that we'll remember in the next 20 years that any of the governments has achieved. And that's the truth.
But there are people who raise the point. There are people who raise the point that when you say that, you know, things happened and, you know, for example, when you talked about the First and Second Republic, yes. The immediate report that I can hear in my head, some people making is that, but both of those republics ended in the overthrow of the government because the people involved were alleged not to have practiced the system. More or less what we are talking about even in the Fourth Republic now.
I'm going to behave like your statistical analyst.
Yes,
okay, yes. And try and bring facts, okay? You should not accuse me of plagiarism. Now let's take Lagos State, for example.
Okay.
During the Second Republic, Alhaji Yakonde was the governor. I was a teenager then. I remember we had free education. Some people say it was poor. Maybe that's why I'm speaking this way. Okay?
You were a beneficiary.
Yeah, yes, okay. And I have a lot of my friends who are medical doctors and what have you. They are beneficiaries, okay? And let me tell you what that did to the economy of Lagos that they are benefiting today. It ensured that my parents were able to save money they were paid for school fees. They put it in savings. The bank had the money to use, and that brought out the interest rate. Because they were able to lend money to industries at reduced rates. So inflation was curtailed. My parents saved money. They were able to buy land and build house. And that's as it is today, is what is giving Lagos tenement rates. I have seen the multiplier effect of that action. Because government say there's no money. Meanwhile, you are mortgaging the official. Now, that's one. There are many general hospitals built by Yakonde. But general hospital is sold, what have you. That's another one. He did the Lagos ferry service. He had two yachts, Itafaji and Babakekere, that were running from my two to CMS. Those things were granted during the military regime. And of course, we ran the metro line. If that metro line had been allowed to stay, we won't be having the chaos we have in Lagos today. Then let's come to the area of housing. You have the mass housing scheme. How many Yakonde estates do you have in Lagos? You have the Iba, you have Isolo, you have Okeafa, you have in Adeni Agdele, you have in Ikota in Lekki, all over the place, Ikorodu, what have you. That's for the masses. And many people who are retired today, they were able to have houses and shelter over their head of that government. Then for the middle income people, LSDP was there. They had the Maryland, Alakwere, and what have you. Then for the industries, for the upper scheme, it created their own of in GRA, Magodo phase 1, phase 2. Lekki phase 1 today was a scheme by Jakonde. That was 30, 40 years ago. That's vision. Those are thinkers.
Which you mentioned earlier.
Okay, yes, okay. Then let's talk about the industries. Of course, we had the Ilupeji Industrial Estate, the Ogba, and what have you created by Awolowo. Yeah. But Jakonde did the Amuwod of Industrial Estate, the Orile Industrial Estate, Matori, Isolo, and many others, which today are the bedrock of a lot of internal IGR for Lagos today. So please tell me in the last 20 years of this democracy, what has all the government in Lagos State or any of the other states done to ensure that those youths who are 20 years old now, when they are 50, they have something to rely on. So we lack thinkers.
It's quite a submission.
That ends this segment.
Yeah,
I think on that note that we're going to have to end this segment.
That's right.
Let me thank, first of all, Mr. Solomon Iyamo, the Commandant of the Abuja National Civil Security and Civil Defense Corps. Thank you very much, Mr. Iyamo, for being with us on this segment. We wish you well, and we hope that your suggestions about improving security will be taken on board. In our studios here in Lagos, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Ladi Thompson, thank you so much, as always, for being with us. My namesake, indeed. Right. Thank you very much for being with us. As well as Olaito Odukoya, thank you so much for being with us. That your submission was quite a submission.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for being with us. We'll take a break on the program at this point, and then we'll be back right after.